Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. From the man behind the COVID lockdowns to the people pushing dangerous gender ideologies onto the youth of America, they all have a glaring thing in common. Being Catholic alone doesn't cut it.
So college commencement speeches are kind of like listening to Charlie Brown's teacher, right? Wah, 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 wah. By now, you've probably heard something about Harrison Butker's advice to the graduating class at Benedictine College in Kansas. Butker is the place kicker for the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. He's also a devout Catholic. So when he spoke from his heart and about the teachings of the church, he was harshly criticized by the usual suspects, and his remarks were labeled, of course, hate speech. Well, you know he struck a nerve because he told the truth. So let's get reaction from Father Gerald Murray of the Archdiocese of New York. He's with us here, along with John Yep, the CEO of Catholics for Catholics. So, by the way, if you haven't watched his 22-minute address, you need to. It was great, honestly, and it was courageous. So, Father, he was as critical, though, of the Catholic Church leaders as he was of Catholic politicians like President Biden, who rarely practices what he preaches. But people should watch the speech because, you know, he went after the church, rightfully so, on some issues, but he also went after the hypocrisy of people in public life today.
He did, and this is about a question of leadership in the church, in the country, and truth. And he scored field goals on both of those, if I could say that, and he did a great job because leadership in the church means Jesus Christ and bringing his teachings forth. He did a great job. In the country, leadership means leading the country in the direction to protect it and to give her citizens its rights. When he mentioned President Biden's hypocrisy of making the sign of the cross at an abortion rally, that inspired me because sad to say our bishops have not given President Biden the treatment he deserves. He should not be simply smiled at and told, isn't a nice way of a Catholic president. He should be told, President Biden, if you support killing unborn children, don't come to communion because it's a scandal.
DC's Cardinal, Wilton Gregory, did speak up a little bit recently, but that's atypical, you're right. But what is typical of the media and the left today is they're condemning Butker's remarks as hate speech because he's not woke and he has a different set of beliefs. But kudos, honestly, to Whoopi Goldberg and Bill Maher, who, even though they disagree with him, they defended his right to say it, which everyone should be doing. John, why are so many on the left quick to pounce and denounce?
I think that's what the question needs to be asked. Why has there been such a visceral reaction? I believe Father Gerald is familiar with the whole exorcism rites, and it's almost reminiscent of when you pour holy water on the demon. The reaction from the left-wing media has been out the wazoo, and I think we got to go deeper in why that is. There's two issues going on. It's A, does he have the right to say this? Which is yes, he does. And secondly, the content. Why are people so upset about the content? The ironic thing here is he upheld the vocation of motherhood in a special way. And what's crazy about this is the entire NFL. You think about Virginia McCaskey. She's her dad started the NFL, George Halas. She had 11 kids. She's a Catholic mother. She goes to adoration, and she would probably agree with much of what Harrison said. So, you know, the very NFL is founded on a mother who had 11 children and raised her kids to be, champions in the NFL today. So there's a lot going on here, and I think we have to step back and look at the Harrison Butker grenade that went off and where are these reactions coming from and why.
You know, and shame on the NFL, and I'm a big NFL fan. Obviously, anyone knows me knows I'm a crazy Dolphins fan. But this is a league that features murderers and wife beaters and showcases Super Bowl acts known for throwing around the N-word and sexualizing women and glorifying Colin Kaepernick, the white-hating, cop-hating, America-hating jerk. The NFL released a statement criticizing Butker's speech. So let me ask you, Father, why does corporate America think that they always need to inject themselves into the culture wars?
Yeah, this is ridiculous that the NFL would make a statement to say what Harrison Butker said does not represent what the NFL believes. Harrison Butker never pretended that he was speaking on behalf of the NFL. And by the way, how does an organization that's essentially a money-making operation have a set of beliefs that somehow the people who work for them are supposed to support? I thought we lived in a free country. I thought the purpose of the NFL was to have sport. And by the way, what about everybody else's behavior? Is that also criticized? You mentioned all the wife beaters and all the rest. I have, been 34 arrests of NFL players in the last 3 years, mostly involving violence against women, wives, or girlfriends. The NFL ought to stay busy promoting football, not a woke agenda. And by the way, it's an anti-Catholic agenda. Butker was a Catholic speaking at a Catholic college. Why are they butting in? This makes no sense.
No, it's exactly right. And one of the remarks that drew the most criticism was Butker's critique of fatherless homes and their negative impact on society at large, which is very true. Watch this.
To the gentleman here today, part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. As men, we set the tone of the culture, and when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos set in. This absence of men in the home is what plays a large role in the violence we see all around the nation. Other countries do not have nearly the same absentee father rates as we find here in the U.S.
John, quickly, he's not wrong.
He's absolutely not wrong. And when you think about the amount of money the NFL spends on programs to build up families, outside the games and the fanfare, why would they be upset when someone like this on the platform that he has created for himself? I think what irks the left so much is that not only do you have a message which is dead on point, but the guy is successful at what he does. Like you mentioned, he won the Super Bowl. He hit those 2 game clenching field goals the last 2 years in a row. I'm a Bears fan. I saw that. I mean, I don't necessarily love the Chiefs, but I think when you see somebody who is so successful in what they do on the field and then off the field, he uses that platform that he self-created and he hits the truth on. That is what we need to be proud of and get behind this man more than ever. There is an attack on Christians in the public square like we have never seen before, and this is the time to rally behind these men.
The number 1 selling jersey this week in the NFL, Kansas City's number 7. Good. Father Gerald Murray, thank you for not asking for a collection here. I appreciate it. And John Yep, thank you so much. See you guys soon.